Hey everyone, welcome back to Satisfactory. So we are into episode 2 of season 2 here. We're continuing on from tiers 4 to 6 and expanding our factory here. Now I've made a couple changes since last episode just to catch you guys up. Not huge changes, but changes that need to be made and that were boring. So what I've done is I filled in the whole entire courtyard here with foundations, and then I redid the truck track. So now the truck is actually going over top. Oh, sorry, it actually goes around here. It's actually going over top of this instead of down and underneath it. So hopefully that'll stop any bugs with the truck going all wacky. Because that kind of sucked last episode, but I do think it was my fault because it has been running for quite a while and I have not seen any issues with it. So I'm pretty happy with that. I've moved our hub over into the courtyard over here too, and I've built myself a little bit of a personal storage area. And I can park my truck there now and drive it around because our factory is actually getting pretty big, so I've been finding myself hopping in that thing more often than not. So this thing does a perfect route. This thing here is filled up and ready to put on 4 more as we need to expand. So we're good for power. I have moved our space elevator actually from over there. I just kind of had it sitting on the ground over there. So I made a nice platform over here and put our space elevator on that. So it looks much better up there because it has many inputs. So I'm assuming by the higher tiers, you're going to have to start pumping a lot of materials into it to accomplish the send missions. Because from what I understand is that this leads up to a space station. And what you're doing is sending all the materials up so that a space station could be built. So that's your end goal, is to build a space station. Now I don't know if that's official, but that's kind of the feeling I get off of it, right? I could look that up too. But anyways, don't forget to drop a like here, guys. I'm going to go ahead and get my personal inventory filled up with everything we need for this episode. We have to start upgrading stuff and getting our factories timed so that they're clocking out more stuff now that we have upgraded materials. And upgrade... Oh, almost fell down this damn thing. Always do that. And upgraded conveyor belts. Alright, so I've grabbed some steel beams. I've also taken some time too and done some organization. I went and grabbed like a whole bunch of dump chests I had laying around and put all my stuff in here. So with these here, all you have to do is look at the corners of them to actually hit the box. They can be a little wonky, like you can't hit it in the middle. I think it's because the pole gets in the way. If you stack them without the pole, you really shouldn't have that issue. But like even the center row can be a little weird. So just keep that in mind if you're building these. They look a little better, but the best way to tackle these is at an angle. Also in that time, I've been cleaning up and kind of getting ready for expansion here. I've put a storage aside and actually started getting it to pump out steel and store some steel up in here for me. So I constantly have a steel supply going because right now we don't have any machines automating steel, so I'm still doing everything by hand. So having that will be useful. I'll have to get rid of that eventually, but we need to build the factory, but we need this factory to be up to par so that we can get the other factory going full tilt. All right, so our first objective out here, I didn't bring my truck with me because we've been talking and walking, so I'll throw down a craft bench. Takes 2 seconds. We need to upgrade these machines here with the new miner Mark IIs because these ones will output more, so I should be able to essentially save on a power shard or 2. As long as we're pumping them out at the same rate with less power shards, that's a better thing, right? So that's an easy upgrade. The other thing I want to see too is if I can get foundations over top of here and then still clip this to the node, because that would actually look pretty clean. But we'll find out. So here is our first step. My inventory is actually nice and full. I've moved the power off so we can put some foundations down here. Now fingers crossed I can. Oh sweet, it does look like we can. And next step, oh that's just a couple concrete. Don't worry about that. We'll just bury it. There we go. Never have to think about it again. And now we should be able to build our miner Mark II, which I actually forgot to get the supplies together for. Damn it. There we go. Now I have the materials together for our miner Mark II. I gotta start using this more. The little wish list here, the to-do list. You just press the plus or the minus button to add it. We have enough supplies so we can take it away now. No way, can you? Oh, that is so much nicer than kind of having them set down. Oh, I'm gonna keep this in mind for next time too. I place miners. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get this reconnected here, and let's take. Oh, let's get this powered first of all, because our factory is lacking materials, so it's gonna take a little while to get built up here again. But it's producing 120 per minute, so let's go ahead and actually overclock it to 150. That'll give us 180 per minute and should help us catch up on the inside. Yeah, look at it fly over there. Ooh, the sound this thing makes. I like that. I really like that. So it seems to be producing exactly what we need, or even plus a little more, with only one power shard. So that'll save us on the power shard, because we're going to need them for the machines inside to get them overclocked too. And maybe we'll have to upgrade these. Is it stacking up in here? It is stacking up a little bit, so the conveyor belts aren't pulling as much as they should. Alright, we'll take a look at that later. There is math and stuff you can do for those, but I honestly just don't feel like doing that. So I'm going to get these two dismantled and replaced with the foundations over top. So we have everything in place now, and now it's time to take a look at making this more efficient. We don't actually have to stop and really do too much math. Now this thing here, we'll take a look at it. It's producing 180 ore per minute. And if we take a look at our conveyor belts, this is attached to a Mark II. It can only transport 120 resources per minute. So this thing is actually producing too many resources to go on that belt. But if we were to upgrade this to Mark III, we could transport up to 270 resources per minute, which will mean these belts will be empty in between ore unless we overclock this one like crazy into the floor above. But at least it'll be running a little more efficiently, right? So for these, we just need steel beams, which are easy to make. It's just, I believe, 3 pieces of steel, 1 belt. Not too complicated. So we're going to go ahead and actually upgrade these conveyor belts here. I love how you can just upgrade them. Having to replace them would absolutely suck. So we're going to replace these going right up into the building. And then we're going to take a look inside and see how things are moving in there. And I actually need to get this one attached back up to the second floor. May as well use this because we're going to have to upgrade it anyways. Look at that stuff come flying out of there. That's awesome. And there we go. Temporary workstation gone. I love how it's so easy to build stuff. Like, you make yourself a little work area, and then when you take off, get rid of it. Leaves it nice and clean. Oh, these belts look so much better, too. Okay, let's go take a look inside here on our first part of the production floor. Now, this obviously is not upgraded, but we got to back up anyways. So, we won't spend any of our hard-earned steel on that quite yet. Actually, it looks like it's still working on catching up back there a little bit. I'm seeing some space there as well as here. Okay. Well, one thing I know I need to overclock right away is our metal plate production. It is not keeping up. So if we take a look here, we have no iron plates stacked, so that's a good sign that we're not producing too much. So let's go ahead and throw one in one of those power shards that we saved from the other machines and clock it up a bit. There we go. We'll let this run for a minute. I'm gonna actually go and replace one of the overclock shards into the other miner because I forgot to do that. Just a quick check on our power. We still have a lot of overhead, which is good, because when we start getting into the steel manufacturing, we're going to see some spikes and stuff. So we're going to want a little bit of overhead. But if we head back over this way and take a look, let's see how our plates are doing here. So it looks like we might be running down on ingots a bit. So I don't know if the ingots are keeping up here. Yeah, if we look here, we still got some space here, and I think it's because we still haven't ended up caught up down at this end. I could steal some iron ore out of this one and top off this machine. There we go. That'll help it catch up a little bit. And I'll put the rest back in this one here. So we gotta. This will take a second for everything to catch back up again. While I'm at it, and I have to wait, I should actually replace these belts with the upgraded steel ones, because I'm gonna have to eventually. All these floors need to be upgraded as we upgrade expansions and need better things, because these are our main supporting buildings, right? These are supplying like important pieces to all the other buildings, which are building more specific things. There we are. Yeah, it comes flying out there much faster. And we can't forget to replace this damn belt here too. I almost forgot this one. The one feeding the whole thing. Keep everything slow coming into it, and then quicken everything else up. Oh yeah, that's moving much quicker now. Whoa, got bounced right off of that. Here we go. Nice. So I'm kind of thinking right now, it's going to take us a little while to get full blast on the other side with the steel, but upgrading all my production belts just to push more is a really good idea. So we should go automate while I'm kind of waiting for this to fill back up so I can see how well it's keeping up with production. We should go over here because our steel's getting backed up and just stored into a container. Right here. It's not even filling up that quickly. Are we running? No, we're still running pretty well back here. So what I should do is actually add some more production to make these into belts. Okay, so I'm gonna put a constructor here. It's just gonna be temporary. There we are, and we'll bring a belt around, which will also be temporary. Because I don't normally like building this ugly, but this is just for function right now. And this thing will produce our belts for us. That one already has 4. Is there one back here that doesn't? Yeah, we'll steal this one here. There we go. We'll go into this. Tell it to make us some steel beams. And then I'm going to put a storage at the back of this one. What does a Mark II storage cost? I know it's actually considerably more expensive. We got 15 encased beams. Yeah, I'll just build one of these. Whatever. We shouldn't need much more than this, really. There we go. And then I'll come back here and get rid of this once we got more production going on. We got this space anyways. We may as well use it, right? It's going to eventually be used for more steel production once steel comes out further. Alright, so we're caught up with the iron down here, and if we take a look, the smelter's having a hard time keeping up with the demand for the plates, because it does take 2 iron ingots for the plates, right? And it's already overclocked, look at that. So we're going to go ahead, throw some more overclock into this sucker, and that produced us 15 more per minute. So hopefully that keeps up. If not, I still have some of these kicking around back home, and we'll check them out. Now, what this is here, I'll take you guys and show you what this is actually feeding. It seems to definitely be moving a lot better. So we'll go back and take a look. This thing it runs out here, runs through this bottom rung here, goes into this building, comes out across here, back around, and into this assembler. And this assembler is making our reinforced iron plates for us. And it's, oh, look at that. Okay. Let's take a look at its timing. It's overclocked once. 7. 8. Oh, it's still a little bit inefficient. See, now it has to wait a little bit before it starts again. You want that 8 to be in there before it finishes producing. It looks like, oh, it made it that time. So it looks like every couple of goes, we're actually down a plate. Oh, no, it worked that time. Maybe it's every 3. Let's try this one out here. 7, 8. Ah, maybe we're witnessing this thing actually keep up and be 100% efficient. Now the screws are definitely way more than enough. Another place we need to improve right away too, and we're gonna have to take a look at how fast it's producing. Oh, that's awesome. That is so satisfying seeing it work like that. Nice. Is this sucker right here? The screws were the major jam because I couldn't really push them into here fast enough. And the machine only doesn't produce these fast enough to keep it jammed. Anyway, this is a quick fix here. We'll take our steel conveyor belts. And when you jam 2 into it, it definitely feeds it fast enough to keep these things fed really fast. So this should also help push up the production of the rotors. But it might put a strain on other things like our iron rods, which we're going to need to split off again to go into our steel production building because we need rods there too. So we're going to need some overclocking for that. It's a little bit of tweaking here and there. That's what I love about this game. You just spend hours just trying to get this stuff. Oh, look at that. As soon as it hits 8, 6, 7, 8, and bam. Oh, that feels like success right there. And hopefully these screws seem to be keeping up because it's getting to max stock. So I really don't want to alter this in any way because these are flowing pretty quickly. So I don't have to overclock these machines. I can save some overclocking there. But this machine here I think is the most important one to overclock. That's awesome. So we're producing plates pretty damn well now. So now I want to do the same thing for the second floor, and I don't think I've done any overclocking over there. So I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, and I do believe there is another one in the other machine too. So we can head back to our hub. I have a whole bunch stashed over there. What I've done is put like all my raw supplies in the stack storage. And the storage that's actually attached to the hub itself, I put all my valuable stuff. Now, I might have to go on a slug hunt here soon, too. Yeah, we're down to like 4. Damn. I might have overclocked up there already. Let's go take a look. Alright, so we are in the production building here. I'm going to take a look at... This is our first floor. So this is one that's running 100%. We are going to actually hop up top here. Where is my jump pad? There it is. Maybe I should color that a little differently. And take a look at this floor. Oh yeah, look at this. These plates are not running. So this is not overclocked. So we're going to overclock this sucker here, which was 150%. We're going to replace this belt. This is a trick. Like when you have stacks, you kind of have to go and just do these right away. And I'm actually going to do the same thing over here on this side that I did downstairs and upgrade this one right away. So once we have that one time below, we can come up here and get this one time properly too. So we only have one in that one, but we need to run across to the other building and see how these are producing here. Oh, this one already has one overclock. Oh, we might have enough just to time it perfectly. There we go. That's overclocked twice. And, oh, yeah, we have one left over. Nice. And then that one's overclocked twice. Okay, so both floors of these factories should be running in the same capacity, which is awesome. Let's take a look at our power here. Oh wow, we're still even getting a little close. Overclocking takes up so much power. But that's okay. We still have 4 more coal factories to go. I really want to avoid overclocking those. Oh, wait. I think we have 3 sitting in 1. So we take 3 out of that and start up a couple more. Save on the overclocking. So much to do. You have to try to remember where you left all this damn stuff too. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get these upgraded to steel, and we will take a look at our steel production floor and trying to figure out that mess. The steel production floor may take a couple times to get perfect. I have a hunch on that one. There we go. So I have this blasting in here, filling it up. This will fill it up nice and quickly. And if we take a look down there, these are moving along just well enough. It's not like moving 100%, but I'll take that. So we're looking pretty good here. We got one of these feeding each floor. That sucker over there is actually going to be feeding our steel. I'm not going to bother, I think, laying down the foundation over here and like making that nice and sorted out to go into the steel building until we actually need it, which is actually going to be sooner or later. We have to go and take a look over there now. I'm pretty happy with this. We're going to come back and check on the efficiency of the rotors being built, but there's a few things we need to really need to automate to get the steel factory going. So our steel ingots actually come out this way and go around the outside of the building. What I've done is I've just used the wall supports. Now, my color gun is messed up. After the update, for some reason, all the colors kind of changed and are back to default now. But every wall piece I built is white, and it's a brighter white than the other pieces. So I'm going to have to come back and like repaint everything, I think, eventually. Which is okay. I actually don't mind it. I find it really satisfying. But I've ran the steel along the wall here, and it appears as if I have missed a spot, and we're gonna run it into this building right here. This is one we see right here. So this building is like the basics component building, which is feeding this production building, which is building plates and rotors, which is going into these storage units over here. What we're gonna do is eventually attach these into this building and dump them out, and then get rid of this and then save some space, and then put the end production, I think, after tier 6 when we get to the end products, right? We'll have everything automated and just being stored like crazy like that. That way, when we come into the next tiers and next updates, we'll have tons of the supplies to build right away, which will be nice. What's in here? Okay, so we have some already have some basic supplies over here, which is nice. But I've given us some room here to build a steel production building. So we're gonna start it here, and hope like this one I know is gonna be more of a straight line building. So I built it bigger and long, or not as wide, but longer. So I've left myself tons of room out here to keep going. That's also part of the reason I've moved the space elevator too. I actually backed up my save before moving that thing because in alpha I heard of a few people having problems with it just disappearing on them, which can be a pain in the butt. So let's go ahead and build ourselves a table in here. We're going to build a craft bench somewhere useful. Right about here, I guess. We can move these things around quick. They're cheap and easy to build. So our basics, we already have some of that being made back where the steel is. And I actually might keep that. I might incorporate that just so it always constantly builds these, because you need these for conveyor belts. So this will almost be something you always need. So have a little bit of backup to that. We need to automate steel pipes. We need to automate encased industrial beams, which in fact we'll have to produce more steel beams over here, which is not a big deal. We have to produce these in order to produce motors, because motors, we're going to need these too to send them up to space. So this is going to be a common item. And then eventually we're going to try to automate the heavy modular frames, which actually takes nails, screws. So we might actually pick off some of the screws from one of those machines if we're making too many. So that's also another use of that. So this is going to be interesting to see how this works. But I want these buildings to all attach to each other nice and cleanly, and each floor will be a carbon copy. Once I like automate and get everything perfect on the first floor, copy it on the second one, and then make the changes you need to go, right? So I think our first objective here is to get the steel into the building looking nice. Now, I chose to use the 3-prong window on this one, just in case I ever need to bring any more steel into here. We have another input all coming in the same window. There we go. Can wrap it around to the front. And on top of that, it lines up with like trying to bring them in off of a corner of a building just a little bit better. Coming into here, it actually bends off quite a bit. We can see that down at that end. But that looks nice and clean, and it comes into here nice and clean, and we can go multiple stories. We have another room for another 2 of those in between floors. So that should be enough. Another 2. Look at that. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. So we got our steel into our building. Now I think I'm going to start the production line down here, leaving at least a block and a half space for moving stuff around, splitting stuff in the back, and enough space to run down the side and run conveyor belts in what should look like a nice way. There we go. So I use the half rule on the side here, and the half rule on this one, to kind of balance that out. Gives you enough space. Like this is enough space still to run conveyor belts in between. What I'm going to actually do here is we're going to try to come up here and force this into a nice 90-degree angle. So we're going to use these stackable conveyor belts, and I'm going to just start using these from now on. Oh, there we go. Nice. Built that a little bit too high. Oh, that's a nice angle. Okay, and then we can actually use these to step these conveyor belts down to... Want to try not to make it too ugly too and leave some room to walk around. So we'll bring it down to this height. Then this will be ugly if I try to do this. Yeah, it won't even let me do it. So I'm going to force these into a 90-degree bend with my stackable conveyor poles. Alright, now that I have that up here, we're going to have to keep in mind that this is a main feed steel line. So we're going to have to feed these into other rows that are making other things. This is going to be a good challenge to figure out. I haven't had a head start on this one, so you're seeing me do this for the first time. So we're going to get this, first of all, connected up. Looking nice. Into there. There we go. And we're going to start a splitter stack, or a splitter here. Splitter stack. We don't need a splitter stack in this spot. So we're going to build a foundation. We'll use the 2-meter foundations, I think. Yeah, we'll use the 2-meter ones here. There we go, and that'll keep the splitter looking proper. Take the splitter out right here. Our inputs on that side. And I kind of just want to keep this tucked up to the wall so that it looks nice and straight. Did I end up getting straight with that? Let's take a look at this. Oh yeah, look at that. Perfect. Okay, and then once I'm done with that, take the foundation out, and you still have room to walk underneath, room for expansion if you need to do any craziness, and you're good to go. But the one thing I didn't do is actually line this damn thing up. So that's fixable. We're actually going to come out like this. Curve it in, and oops, I didn't put that on the right center. Oh no, I did. Okay, here we go. We're going to curve that in. Hopefully that's not too tight. Yeah, look at that. There we go. Cleaned it up. And then down into that machine. Or I could just go and straighten that splitter out and do it properly. Much better. Much better. There we go. So I straightened up the splitter. It wasn't hard. I just used a guideline for that sucker. So we have a splitter going off into this machine now, and it needs to be told to make steel pipes. So this one's going to be making steel pipes. We might have to change this to like beams and stuff, but we'll see as we go. So this is one of our first basic things here, and we have no power coming into this building yet. So I'm going to use a trick to slide some power into this building. I do believe we have power sitting in the corner. We do. Nice. So I'm going to take out that panel right there. Just like that. And come over here with the pole. Grab your pole. There we are. And I'm going to try to line it up nice. There we go. Oh, like this. I can use these as steps. Kind of get up so I can... Oh, I can't see over there now, damn it. Okay, whatever. I'll just hop jump. But what we're going to do is hook it up to that sucker in the corner. There we go. Hook it up to there. Now, if you have the walls in the way, unfortunately, you can't wire through them. But if you run the wire and then put the wall back, you can. Oops, that's backwards. Gotta fix all those stupid things. I wish it would, like, auto. There we go. Auto know where you're going to put it. And then you can put the wall back, and look at that. Now you have a wire running through a wall, which is okay, because you can drill holes in walls, right? Makes sense. So there you go. That's a good way to hide wires. Now we got to figure out a good wiring system for this sucker, too. We might have to move this thing around a couple times. But for now, I'm going to vote with running it down the side, kind of like this. Can we tuck it in, encroaching? What are you encroaching? This thing's always yelling at me for encroaching things. Can I run it down this way? I don't want it to like run through anything awkwardly. Maybe we'll line it up right here. Okay, no, that comes underneath all nice. Nice and clean. Okay, we'll take that. Hug this sucker up. Go down another segment so we can expand. Oh, cool. Okay. There we go, and that's powered. How are we doing for power here? Still doing all right. We might have to go this episode and actually jack up our power production a little more, but hey, we're going along well. This is running much better than the other buildings did. Kind of have a better feeling how to make things flow so you can walk under it and move around. Okay, so next thing we need to build is the encased industrial beams. Now this one here, we're going to need some concrete, which is not too big of a deal. We actually have a node right outside here that I looked at, and I'm like, oh, sick. We can make an input for this, which is going to be nice and easy. And then we're going to have to turn some steel into steel beams too directly. So this row is going to be a little bit more complex. First things first, we're going to have to go and get the concrete organized. So I'm going to take a panel out here because it's right over there. There we go, that'll help me see it better. But the row I want it to come in is right here. Those panels are okay. I needed to place them in order to place the panels below. But here we go. So our next row is going to come in here. I'm going to leave like enough space in between things. I think we got enough easily for 4 or 5 rows in here. If we organize it nicely. Because the bigger machines, right, you got to give them a little bit more of a wider berth. So hopefully we don't have to replace too much things. But hey, all trial and error, right? So I'm going to go and pound away at this crap over here. Get it ready for producing. I can just build a Mark 1 over here, I think, to get it going. Oh, it's a pure limestone. Even better. All right, just a quick correction. I was looking at the limestone node and not the actual limestone itself. It's an impure limestone, but that's okay because like we don't need to produce a ton of it at this moment, and we can always double it up or overclock it later on, right? Okay, there we go. So foundation time, and I'll place the miner down. So I've built a platform over here, and of course what I did was I brought the foundations across. Sorry about that. All right, brought the foundations across here because I want everything to line up, all the buildings to line up, right? So this building will line up with that building. This one will line up with this one. Nice straight conveyor belts that stack on top of each other. But I went to build the miner here. We only need a Mark 1 on this one. There's a lot of space. Look at all the space we got up here. So what I'm thinking is we actually automate the concrete up here and then have the concrete go across both conveyor belt windows across here right into the building, or over to the building and then maybe into the window over there. I think that would look nice and clean. All right, there we go. So we have it all powered up and going. So now this shouldn't have to produce too much of this. This shouldn't be too bad. What do we got going on here? Nice, it's finally starting to produce. There we go. And it'll start to produce some concrete for us if we tell it to over here. And then what'll happen is that concrete will go. I put it up and around just to help you run around a little better. It'll actually come out here. I went back and I had to get more concrete, so I grabbed some steel as well, some steel belts. Because everything I do from now on, I'm going to just keep it upgraded. That stops me from having to come back for what should be a long time in upgrading these ones. Now, because everything is nice and lined up, I can actually stack stuff out to go into that building over there now. So I can take this guy over here, make a nice line, and then bring the line into this stack over here and bring it into the building. So what we'll do is build actually a triple wall over here. For now, we can always change this up, right? But for now, we're going to put a triple wall in there just so it's nice and lined up. And we're going to actually have to run, too, some foundations down this way. So I know how to line the stack up properly. So how are we going to do this here? I could put down a foundation. I wonder if I can... Okay, we're going to try this trick. What we'll do... I want to make this look at least a little realistic, too, so that the conveyor belts aren't going a million miles across the map without any support. We'll bring one, what was that? Oops. Every 2 blocks. I think they'll look nice. And, oh, look at this. 2, if I come off here and bring it over a little bit, will actually line up nicely with that, so I had to build one here anyways. And how tall was that? 3 high? Okay, that's not so bad. So we got 2 right here. There we go. We'll go up to... So our next stack actually needs to be on this block right here. Whoa. Landscape did some derpy things right there. So we got 1. We got 2 in the middle. Oh, it's becoming nighttime again. There we go. So I wonder if we get rid of these foundations, if I could take one of these and clip it to the bottom. No, it wants to go up to the top. Oh, I was hoping we can get another one to go into the bottom here. It's like, just kind of sits on the ground properly and lines up. But can we do this manually? Ooh, this is tricky. Yeah, no, that didn't line up at all. Oh, that looks like junk. What we actually can do... Oh, I wonder if this will clip right. No, it goes up too high. Oh, that's a shame. Another thing we can do... Actually, I got an idea here. Here we go. The engine is turning. Is we can take the regular supports. Here we go. The regular support like this. I don't think it'll snap into each other properly though. So that's actually the right height. We'll take these away again. Take this support. Ooh, that's like even worse to try to line up. Yeah, no. Oh, hey, what's this? That almost lines up, but it does it line up? No. Okay, well, this one's starting to stump me a little bit. Stupid landscape. I guess we can just go like this. As far in as possible. There we go. And just go straight into the building. I guess I'll have to give that one up. Damn it. No winning on this one. So there we go. Right into the middle. Oh, it's too long. Okay. That's okay. Because we could put down the foundation here. And make a support. We'll line it up with the building. That won't be too bad. There we go. Yeah, that doesn't seem too bad. We'll put a stackable right here. I think that's lined up. Oh, nope, that's actually wrong. What we want to do, conveyor pull. So we'll take this. There. And into there. Okay, that works. I'm happy with that. There's no way I was going to get these things lined up. That's unfortunate. That would have looked a little better. But that's still, I guess, believable, right? I want to make it look as much as a factory as possible. Alright, so I spent some overnight time here tinkering around, getting everything organized. It's too dark to kind of record anyways. It's not bad on my monitor, but when you always record it, it ends up darker. So what I've done is I've actually gone back a couple blocks here. This way I figure maybe I can build a bridge over that place or expand the building back or create an entranceway. It leaves me a little bit more wiggle room. And then I can take this in here and we can bring it out, curve it around. What this thing is doing is making our beams for us. We can curve that around to come out this way and then back into this assembler to make our encased industrial beams for us. So in order to do that, we need to do some wiring here. So what I've done is I've actually taken a conveyor belt. Holy crap, that thing throws you. I've taken the conveyor belt here and run it as close as possible as I can to this machine without encroaching its space. So I'm going to use that as a guideline to actually put my stackable poles down here. So I'm going to, how close in can we bring this? Right here. I gotta watch the guideline for the belts too. So yeah, right here would be way too close. And I think that's about as close as we're gonna get to it without encroaching it. Now with these, we need to actually go too high because I need to go up and over this. Because this needs to come out. This is our steel, our main steel line. So I don't need it to interrupt that. So I'm gonna lay a few of these down and get this connected right into that sucker there. And there we go. Now we have what I believe is to be a nice clean system going in and feeding this machine. Now, I purposely left some space right here in between to do the same thing if I have to down the road to expand these machines here. Maybe split something off, bring it down to the end, something like that. So I'm leaving a little bit of space in mind for the future because we have tons of space. That's one thing that's awesome, is you can replace a lot of nature with foundations. And that's pretty much my goal, if you guys haven't noticed yet or not. But there's our next challenge. Now, I just got to get this thing wired up and going. Can't forget step number 1. So we're going to create, I think, another power row right down this way. And get that thing hooked up. There we go. Look at that. Now we are making encased industrial beams. Number 2 done. So our next step, and probably one of our more complex ones, is the motor here, which isn't not a problem because we have a ton of these rotors. Those are being made in the other building, so we can bring those over. But we do have to make these things, and for these we're going to need pipes and we're going to need wires. So I'm going to have to bring in the wire all the way from the other building where we only have the one source of copper going already. Or we can see if there's a copper source nearby and tap off that one instead and just make a local one and bring the materials here. I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to build one of these here. I don't know if I'm saying that name right. If I'm butchering it, guys, I apologize. I should remember. I'm going to try to remember to look that up later. But I'm going to put another one here because we already have one making pipes. And honestly, I can come in here and grab the pipes I need off of it if I need any extra in my inventory. You know what I mean? That's what I've been doing with the plates and stuff lately too, instead of running back to my personal storage. So I think I have too many. But we could tie this machine into it and then do the that part down here. And then do the motor right here because this is where the rotors are. Right here. Look at this. Rotors are right here. So it'll be an easy tie-in to all of this. And I'll have to bring another conveyor belt down for the wires. So I'm thinking for the wires, I can bring a conveyor belt down right along this building. Do it nice and tight like that. Like we have it on the other side. See, there is our stack of wires right there. So we are going to go ahead, put that there, and then I think I should be able to curve that around to a conveyor. Let's see if I can reach the other one from here. I do like the reach distance with these. Keeps you from having to run around a lot. Okay, so we're going to go out from there. See if they fix that. Oh, that's much better. When I was playing earlier, it clipped really, really weird. And it didn't do that properly. So I got to go inside and see how we're going to connect that up to our current system. And there we go. So I have copper going outside the building now. We'll come back and renovate this a little bit later, but I still did try to make it look neat as possible. We'll come and actually this storage container and this one's going to be empty, so we'll take this out so we can walk around. And what we're going to do is once we get everything up and running full tilt, instead of trying to overclock this, we'll tie in our overstock supply into this line and super feed it and save us a little bit of overclocking time. So let's continue on to the outside where I think I have to reconnect it because yes, I do. I moved the window. I had to move the window over one to do that. So we got to fix this sucker up here. Gotta love it. So we'll take this one out. Make a nice conveyor. Now, if you're really, really picky and you want everything like all the walls to match the right way because there we go. Or just you don't want that in there. What you can do once you place it is actually take the wall out and just put a normal wall thing in there. And it'll kind of float out a bit, but at least it looks close to the building. So it looks like it's kind of held. I don't know. It's up to you. But there we go. We got wire going into the building, and we got our rotors going into the building. So we're ready to make motors. Okay, so we are looking good to go here to make our stators. By the way, I looked up how to say that. It's Stator. It's almost like that's a D almost, so it's Stator. That's how you pronounce these things. So we have our steel pipes going into the machine. And we got to get our wire going in here. Now, this one might be a little bit tricky because the wire is coming in there. So I think I'm going to have to build a stack and kind of bring it down nicely and into here. This is a little bit tight, but I'll try to get this one figured out because I don't want it to make it look messy either, and I want to make it workable in the future because there's 2 more inputs that I could still kind of utilize, right? Even here, like this is, I'm using a triple window just to bring it in on the side. I guess that's not even really that big of a deal. Having extra, we'll call it vents. Gotta let some air in, right? And we have success. So at first I wasted a lot of time here. As you can tell, it's almost nighttime. I tried to build this spaghetti thing going in behind here and in between the machines and stuff, and it looked absolutely awful. So what I did was I actually used the existing footprint for the other ones going through, and I just simply went up, above, around, and down, exactly like on the other side, but at a different level. So that way I think if I have to bring more things into the building, string more things along, I can actually use the existing conveyor belt system because its footprint doesn't get in the way of anything, and it still leaves you some room to run in between or even under these things to get through and between to your machine. So I'm pretty happy with how this is coming along. Now this is actually not making anything because we have no power. There we go. And just so I don't forget, I'm gonna put another one out here just to remind myself for the next row. So we should be making the stators now. Oh, look at that. So we're making stators. Awesome. Next step is to build another assembler, and we got to bring these routers into it and match it up with the stators. So we got to take the stators out and then wrap that around to come into this. This should be this should be pretty interesting. Oh wow, look at the copper wire just go flying along there. That's awesome. How many can it store? 500. Well, that's a stack limit, right? So that makes sense. Cool. Awesome. Okay. I'm going to put the next assembler together here. And we have success. Now this thing is making motors for us, which is awesome. These take forever to make by hand. They're a pain in the butt because there's so many steps to get everything together. But now that we have these automated, that is almost everything we need other than the frames. We got to automate the heavy frames. And this is going to actually be a little bit of the process. So in order to automate the heavy frames, we're going to need modular frames, first of all. 5 of them to make one heavy modular frame. So in order to make these, we're going to need the plates, which are not a big deal because we have another row of plates. What I'll do is I'll do the same thing I did here, and if these are lined up nice, you can actually stack the open walls. Where are they? Here we go. These ones right here. We'll put them in here. And they should not interfere with your belts. If your item, though, is bigger, it actually might clip through that. No, it does clip through it. Yeah, I'm not sure I like that. I might just leave a hole there in this case then. But if it doesn't clip through, I don't mind doing that style. But yeah, unfortunately in this case, it does clip through. So another thing here we need to consider is, let's take a look at our power poles here. We're consuming a lot of power. So we're getting almost to the point where we're going to need some more coal power. So I can't even really start the next row, the heavy modular frames, until we get our coal going a lot heavier. We still have 4 more coal things to put on. So what we'll do is we'll split off some more coal going into those, get our coal tested out, get our power cranked up, and then we should be able to put together the rest of our steel factory. But I mean, we're making everything but the heavy modular frames, which is pretty sick. So there we go, guys. I know this is a very long episode. It took me forever to record this one, but I'm liking this setup so far. Like, look at that. Doesn't that look sick? The multiple big assemblers. Oh, I love it. And then we got another row here, which is going to be making a whole bunch of frames. Oh, it's going to be so sick. Anyways, if you guys made it to the end, let me know. I always love hearing back from you guys. And we'll see what we get up to here in the next episode. Probably expanding this thing, getting that done, and getting our coal power expanded too. There is so much to do, but it's coming together. My vision of having multiple buildings, building multiple things, all tied into each other, all nice. And look at this. Like, I even tied it into the walkway. It's all nice and tied into the walkway, so you can just walk right underneath it. I had to remove a personal storage here, so I should probably actually pick up. Like, we have so many of some of these items now, I can just start destroying them. Wow. Okay, awesome. Anyways, guys, this is the end of the video. I gotta end it here. I just want to keep playing, but I gotta end it here. If you've made it this far, don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and join us the conversation over on Discord. It's always nice hearing from you guys. Peace out. Have a good one. Remember, back up them game saves. I'll see you guys later.